Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
Good morning. It's your natural born redhead, and I have a woman with me I've known about 15 years. Her nickname is Jersey. She's here to help me talk to you folks about covert and overt abuse. She's been through a lot. She's never, as far as I know, talked about it publicly, so I want to thank her for that. And I know that this is going to invoke a lot of emotions. I wrote you a one-liner this morning, Jersey, and I'm calling her Jersey because we're trying not to use her name, but she told me if I slip, I slip, so I'm going to try not to. And this is what came to me as I was driving here. There's a fine line between taking it to the grave and screaming it from the rafters.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully this is somewhere in between. So do me a favor and just tell my 6.2 listeners a little bit about your background, some of the fun high points, some of the whatever you want to say about it. Start where you were born.
Born in New York, was raised in New Jersey, ended up back in New York after a three to 4 year stint in LA, and remained in New York for quite a few years before leaving to come south.
And the reason for going south was to take care of your father.
Yep.
And we were just saying that he has an affinity for saying, "Show me your tits."
Oh yeah, spread your legs. Show me your tits. Yeah.
We should get that
Go
ahead.
He's already made some comments this morning. He's watching like Gunsmoke or something, and he's yelling at the TV. So if you can yell obscenities at Gunsmoke.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I believe, and you have to correct me if I'm wrong, you were married for a short stint in your 20s?
Yes, got married at 25. It lasted 4.5, 5 years. That was a good one.
And then I can't remember, were you married 2 or 3 times?
3. Then got married to a guy I met out in California. That one lasted 10 months.
Gotcha. And then when you met your third husband, who's now your long-term ex-husband, you were how old?
41.
And you're now 65, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. So talk about meeting that third husband and what it was like, what you remember.
It basically started out as a friendship. He was local, and we were in the same, I see him at the deli in the morning, and, just kind of, it was more of like a, hey, what's up? Kind of, hey, how you doing? Kind of thing. And then we went to play pool one night. And that was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
Yeah.
When, and I'm going to lead you a little bit, and
Yeah.
also if it's something you don't want to answer, you can tell me to take a flying leap. But
Hmm.
when did he start to share with you his estrangement from his mother and father?
Um, Once it became more of like a dating thing, it was after the first date, um, where we started to really, because our first date, we were with his sister and uh, her boyfriend. So it wasn't like a very, you know, like private, intimate first date. But it was after that that he shared a bunch of, like we do, like you do, when you meet someone new, and like I overshared and he shared, and we had like guess it was like a probably like a trauma bond at that point.
Gotcha. And you, your issue with your parents, whether you want to discuss it or not, led you to just know you needed to leave your home by the time you were 18, correct?
Yes, yes. I had always been very independent, and knew that I wanted more and that I didn't need to be, you know, home. I needed to work and be on my own. And I think, that was the late 70s. And that was something that young people did at that age that I was not, it was very typical back then.
And fair to say, your parents are both still living, both struggling. You're with your dad in
Yes,
Florida, mom's in New Jersey. Whatever
yes,
went on in the home has been forgiven, and you're just working towards making their last however long they're on the planet. You're working to make both of their lives easier.
yes, yes, yes. I made peace with my father many, many, many years ago. Um, you know, finally finding, getting his side of the story of what happened between him and my mother. And, you know, so there's two sides to every story. And I heard my mother's side and I heard my father's side. And, obviously the truth is in between there somewhere. But I did appreciate, my father sharing with me his experience and why he did what he did. And, not that I condoned it, but at least I got to hear his side so I could see, and it wasn't until I was much older and went through similar experiences that I realized, like they're your parents, but they're people, like, and they both have pasts and they both have life experiences that lead them to make choices and have regrets. So, I mean, it was, it got very, yeah, I settled my piece.
Got it. But when you met your ex, um, and you're starting to date, and he's sharing, and this is where I get a little fuzzy. I recollect a lot of what you told me, but he hated his father, but he still had a relationship with him. He hadn't done the work, so to speak.
No, 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 no. He, and like, I had been in therapy, I mean, since I was probably 18, 19, 20 years old, something like that. So I tried to, and I met him at 40, 41, and, I tried to impart on him a lot of the things that I had learned over the years and through my experiences and things like that. And, he was just very naive and very, um, I believe his, you know, relationship with his parents and father was very restricting, like very, he didn't hardly know anything about the world.
Gotcha. And he was 12. He's 12 years younger, essentially, correct?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So you felt you're connecting, but he didn't have the capacity for what you were offering. Fair?
Fair.
All right. So I remember a funky story you told me, if you want to share it, that your first Christmas together. You want to share that story?
Yeah. So I think we started to date in like October. And at Christmas time, his family had sold Christmas trees and wreaths and stuff, like in a parking lot, blah, blah, blah. That was a side hustle. And I remember being there and trying to help out. Or maybe I just stopped in to say hi because it was right up the road. And um, his father came over to me and handed me $500 and said, "Here, go buy Christmas gifts for my son from me." And I was just so taken aback. Like I just, he put the money in my hand and I just put the money in my pocket and didn't, I think I was just like in shock.
Taken
Like I
aback.
didn't, yeah, like it was weird,
But you did it.
but I did it. Yeah.
And
Yep.
then I believe, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but then he kind of he made fun of whatever you decided to buy.
Yes. Yes. So, obviously, like I told my ex, like, your dad just gave me $500 to buy you Christmas presents. Like, what do you want? Like, blah, blah, blah. And one thing that I had purchased was back in the day, and they probably still make them now, is those like back massagers. They're like, you plug it in, you lay it in your chair and your recliner or whatever, and you just lay on this pad and it heats up and vibrates or whatever. And I remember going to like Christmas at his family home, and his siblings were there, and their significant others who, again, are obviously much younger. I mean, I think there was 12 years. I was 12 years younger than his dad and 12 years older than, like, it was weird. And he opened up the gift of the massager and everybody laughed and said, "Oh yeah, we've got like 3 of those." Like, ha 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 ha. Like,
All right. So basically, and basically, it was a test from the father, and basically, he was a very controlling guy and
oh yeah.
a very wealthy guy.
Yes.
So you end up marrying, and you have a son at 43.
Correct.
Okay. And I had you tell that season story for a reason. Just to, I think I do this, so for those the story's supposed to resonate with, it will. So now you're married to somebody who you have a son with, and you started to see the cycle repeat when your son was about 5. Is that correct?
Yes. Everything. Well, my ex, broke when him and I met. He did not have a relationship with his mother, his own mother. When, as our relationship went on, he cut the relationship off with his father.
And they had been divorced. His parents has been divorced, and the mother was sort of cut out because the father had money. I mean, that's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Fair.
Yeah. Yep. And so he broke it off. So he was like, so then he went back and had a relationship with brought his mother into our life, which was fine. She was lovely. So she got to enjoy, you know, our son's christening and our uh, uh, party after our marriage. And, she got to enjoy things with us that the father did not. And the father was livid over all of that. So yes, we had our beautiful son, 2003.
All right. And if I remember correctly, by the time your son was 5-ish, and there were problems along the way, I'm trying to keep this on track. You overheard a conversation between your ex and his father that led you to believe he was essentially re-upping his relationship with his dad, and there was a plan in place. Fair?
The relationship with his dad, he rekindled that relationship, I think when
Oop,
3-ish.
we just got another name there. Okay. We don't have to
Okay,
comment
thank
when
you.
it happens. Brian's aware.
Okay.
And the reason we're changing names is because we don't want your ex to be in any more pain, even though he may not know he's in pain. And we have your son's blessing in doing this, but nonetheless, trying to protect his privacy. He is an adult.
Yeah.
So he was rekindling his relationship, unbeknownst to you.
It was beknownst to me.
Oh, okay.
I knew it was happening. I was scared to death. I made him swear that if this was going to continue, that our little family, the three of us, came first, and that there wasn't going to be any crap. And I just that was just the beginning of the end, right there. Once that man came back into our life.
Right. And when did you overhear the conversation that I'd like you to share about the plan?
This was we had sold our house, moved into bought another house, and 2 months after we moved into that house, he stopped wearing his ring. A month after that, he said it's over. So I was working a very part-time minimum wage job. He's telling me basically the marriage is over. And, I put, I put listening devices in the home when I wasn't there. And I recorded him telling his father, I really don't care about custody because I'm going to get him when he's 13 anyway.
Right.
So that is, my son is probably 5. So I had 8 years of that pecking at me.
Correct. And what I want listeners to know that in the state of New York, the child, it used to be, and I'm not an expert at this. I'm not trying to be an expert. I'm just trying to educate and help.
Yes.
It used to be kids were assigned guardian ad litems like an attorney, and the attorney would act in the best interest of the child. Somewhere along the line in New York, that dissipates. And yeah, sometimes people say it's 12 or 13, but I actually think it's younger. So unfortunately, whatever the child relays under undue influences, or the judge and the guardian ad litem have to give more credence to what comes out of the kid's mouth than what's in their actual best interest. Fair?
Fair.
Okay, so we're going to go forward to and I have to pause too to not use names, and I'm just trying to save us editing. Where are we time wise? Just so 21. All right, so we'll talk for another 5 minutes. So now you're in a situation where you're living apart, you're sharing joint custody, and your ex decides when your son is 12, 13 years old not to return him. Is that the case?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what you went to get him, or he wasn't delivered to you? Just please say what happened.
Right. I went to the drop-off pickup point that we've had in place for years. And I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait and nothing. And I call and nothing. And then I finally get a response that, basically he doesn't want to come to you. He wants to stay with me. And we were on a week-to-week custody.
Okay.
So it was my week to have him. And I, I was scared. I was like, because you're in that position and it's like, who do I call? So I went to a friend's house. Our children were friends and we had socialized, and she was a state trooper. And I went right to her house and I said, what do I do? And she said, let me call somebody. So she called a fellow trooper who came to the house, talked to me, talked to her. We explained what the situation was. I gave him the address. He went to where my son was and came back and reported, what was a bunch of lies, but it was what my son had told him. And he basically said, like, his hands are tied. Like that I'm going to have to like call my lawyer, I guess, or something.
Okay, so he had been groomed, and then it was 8 months until you got to see him again, correct?
Yes,
Approximately.
I could go and see him at his extracurricular activities. But I was shielded from him physically, from any contact with him by my ex and others. No contact, no phone calls, nothing. But at least I could have eyes on him, and he could have my son, and my son could have eyes on me, which I felt was very important for him to know that I was not going away, that I was not letting this happen. So,
So he had the powerful family. I'm just trying to,
yes.
This stuff doesn't just happen in the movies. This happens every day to people, and that's the point of saying this. And Jersey and I have also discussed, we know this happens to men, so there's no gender
Oh, yeah.
bias in this. We
Correct.
know men have been raked over.
Yes.
So the grooming was he had been neglected. You didn't feed him. You didn't keep him clean. You had molested
Oh,
him.
no, no. The rape allegation was that I had raped my ex, not my son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Sorry. Yeah, I know.
I'm glad glad we can laugh because
It's just that
that just
it's
adds to this
oh
spicy
yeah.
dicey situation.
That
Okay.
was yeah.
I
That
would
was
love
right
I'd love the details how you went about that one. But anyway,
right. Yeah.
okay,
Right.
so where your son was concerned, neglect, I remember didn't feed, didn't clothe. That's
Yeah, and that yeah. that I wouldn't, yeah, all these things. And, he's bringing this to light in a court of law when the child's like 12 years old, that I didn't do all these things when he was a
All
child,
right. So we can wrap
little.
this up and we'll go right into it. But for the sake of this episode, you're now in a position where you're borrowing money from your mom in order to
Yes.
take on
I'm-
this wealthy family with a bulldog attorney.
Yes. Yes. That
Okay.
I've spent every penny I had. And then had to go and ask for help.
Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. J-Ma.